Hi, welcome back. Day 5, time for another story. I hope you're enjoying these stories because today I'm going to tell you a slightly longer version of the story. Alright? So today's story is about will, grit, determination, as you would like. Alright? So this story is about a certain lady. You might or might not have heard of her because she lived almost a century ago or slightly more than that, about 110 years ago or so. And her name was Yamuna. Her name was Yamuna. She was born in what we call as Kalyan, a part of Mumbai today. And as was the custom and tradition at that time, she was married off at the tender age of 9. Yes, you heard me right, 9. She was married off to a person called Gopal Joshi. Gopal Joshi, who was a postal clerk, and his work took him to various places, and they ended up in Calcutta. Calcutta, alright. But Gopal Joshi had realized by that time that women needed to be educated very well, and somehow he had this idea that Yamuna would fulfill his desire to see that woman, that she would be a torch bearer for other people, be an inspiration to other people, and she would fulfill his dream of letting women pursue their passion. Okay, and in the meanwhile, she got to be the mother of a child, but the child did not survive, and that only strengthened Gopal Joshi's desire to see his wife being more educated, and it is around that time when his child died that Gopal Joshi thought that his wife should pursue medicine. Medicine. Well, we are talking about a time around the 1890s, sorry, around the late 70s to early 80s, and that was a time when women were not even let outside the house in a country like India. So for them to be educated, and that too in medicine, was like a strict no-no. People right and left everywhere around them were censuring them, were abusing them, telling him that this is the worst idea he could have had. But they were in Calcutta. And the girl Yamuna, who was now christened as Anandi by her husband. Okay, now she was called as Anandi Bai Joshi. Now probably it's ringing a bell, right? But just hold on till I complete the story. So Anandi Bai Joshi, by the time she was about 14-15 years old, landed up in Calcutta along with her husband, where his work took him, and now she had mastered English as well as Sanskrit, and now she had set her sight upon learning Western medicine, which had not made its advent in India till that time. Alright, we're talking about the 1880s people, 1880s, early 1880s. And she did not know where to go and learn, and they were looking for opportunities as to where to go to US of A, because by that time the US of A had opened a college exclusively for women to be trained as doctors in Pennsylvania. Okay, they did not have the financial resources or any contacts in the US of A, and so they had put out advertisements in some people's books and magazines and things like this. One such magazine was picked up by a totally unknown person sitting all the way in the US called as Theodosia. Theodosia, when she was waiting for her to be called up by her dentist, and she found it to be very, very inspiring that a lady wanted to travel all the way from India to the US to learn Western medicine, and she had the full support of her husband. To tell you again, even women in the US, okay, were not supported by their family or society to pick up a difficult study as medicine, which was a 2-year-long study, at the end of which you had to present a thesis to get your MD degree. Okay. Again, early 1880s. So she spoke to Anandi Bai, and they struck up a relationship of an aunt and a niece. And she told her, Anandi, at any cost, okay, if you come over to US, that's all you need to do. I'll take care of you no matter what else I have to do. I'll shelter you at my house. Okay. And she got in touch with several other people. Okay. There was a family called as the Thoxbones. I think it's pronounced as Thoxbones. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And they too said that they will pick up the tab, the financial resources that Anandi Bai needed, and they would help her out in any which way. So at last, it was arranged that Anandi Bai would board a ship from Calcutta, which would take her all the way to New York. Okay, and from there, Theodosia and the Thoxbones will take care of all her needs. But unfortunately, Anandi's health started deteriorating around the same time with bouts of headaches, dizziness, giddiness, breathlessness, and things like this. Her husband told her, "You need to take a call as to what you want to do." But Anandi Bai was steadfast. She was around 18 years old at that time, and she knew that if all these people were coming together to fulfill her dream, she only needed to play her part. And by that time, she had realized that no matter what anybody else said, she would be breaking a new path for other ladies to follow in the years to come. So she set foot on the ship, reached New York in 1882, and she wrote to the Women's College of Pennsylvania to let her in as a graduate student for studying medicine, and they didn't do that because her story was awe-inspiring even at that time. Okay, she took up the field of medicine with all honesty, hard work. Her thesis subject at the end of 2 years was obstetrics in the Hindu tradition, something like that, where she drew examples as to how Hindus looked at obstetrics in the Indian subcontinent, drawing from the Ayurvedic texts and things, and it was supposed to be pretty seminal even back in those times. And she graduated with honors in the year 1884. Queen Victoria, the reigning monarch of not only Great Britain, but also India at that time, sent her a personal congratulatory message. That was how big the event was, and at that time, Indians, her very own kith and kin and society, started appreciating as to what a major feat she had accomplished. Her health, though, was deteriorating still. She reached back India around 1884-85 thereabouts, and she was welcomed with open arms. There were a lot of felicitation ceremonies that she had to attend. She was much honored, revered, inspired from, and people were looking up to her. She must have broken many, many glass ceilings. And she was offered the post of the royal physician in the court of the king of Kolhapur in Maharashtra. Because if you remember, she was from Mumbai, the erstwhile Maharashtrian place only. So Kolhapur must have been a very natural choice for her. She did take up the job, but unfortunately her health started deteriorating even more, and it was acceleratedly going down. There were a lot of medicines sent back and forth from America and so many other places to revive her health, but she had already pushed herself beyond boundaries and it could not be done. When she knew that her time had come, she devoted her life to study because she wanted to imbibe any kind of knowledge that she could. She was giving lectures, she was studying even on her deathbed, and at the age of 24 or 25, she left her mortal coil. Well, she might not have gotten to impact a lot of lives by the practice of medicine as such in India, but she has impacted millions and millions of Indians to learn, to know that if you have a will and if you are willing to put in whatever it asks for, your dreams will be fulfilled no matter what. There will be adverse circumstances. There will be people who will always tell you it's not going to happen. There will be always people who are going to tell you that this is not your time, this is not your place. You're just being very foolhardy in having such a magnanimous, huge dream. But nevertheless, as long as you are convinced that you can do it, probably there's nothing in the world that's going to stop you. That's exactly what Anandi Bai, and a lot of credit to her husband, Gopal Rao Joshi, that's what they believed in, and they made it happen. She was among the first two people who managed to learn and practice Western medicine. And we in India look up to her as the first female Indian who managed to learn and practice Western medicine, or allopathy as we know of it today. A big salute or namaskar or namaste for Anandi Bai to have broken the glass ceiling and showed many of us that we too could dream and we too could make the dream come true all the time. I hope you found this story very interesting and inspiring as well. So if you've had any dreams in the past 1 year which have not come true, don't let it go. Think of other ways to make it happen. Discuss with other people. Let them know how much it means to you to fulfill this dream, and I'm sure the universe will come together, your society will come together, people will come together to make it happen, as long as you put it out there, you show them the passion that is involved along with your dream. But hard work has no substitute, and you definitely need to work hard. There are no shortcuts to success, but nevertheless, don't stop dreaming. Have a will, and there will be a way. Alright, with that, I'll take your leave for today and see you on another day with another story. Bye bye.